yet another episode of Women at Work. I'm Meenakshi Sajeev and I'm here to take you through the journeys of some amazing women who has progressed in different directions in their career. In today's episode, we have with us Revathy Nair, who is a civil engineer, currently practicing as a geotechnical engineer in the UK. Revathy has attained her master's from the Imperial College in London and she's worked in some prestigious projects around the world in Singapore, in Bangkok, and in UK and in India. So let's take a peek into how Revathy has progressed her career thus far and let's also see what her future plans are. Welcoming Revathy Nair to Women at Work.
Hi Revathy, welcome to Women at Work.
Thank you. Thanks, Meenakshi. Good to be here.
Yeah. So this is the second episode of Women at Work. And again, even in our last episode, we got somebody from the STEM. And I'm so happy that we have somebody from the same area, but still in a very different field. The last person we had was a mechanical engineer who went into sports management. And today I have a out and out civil engineer who is doing geotechnical engineering right now. And it's very close to my heart because my undergrad was in civil engineering. Despite me not doing anything about it, I too am a civil engineer. And geotech was the hardest subject that I studied. And so I'm really interested in knowing how you got interested in the geotech and how you steered your career that way. And to start with, I'd like to ask you, are you an accidental civil engineer like me, or did you really like this discipline and you went into it?
Accidental civil engineer. And like any other, like any other teenager in India, not any other, I would say most teenagers in India, I wanted a degree. And I just wanted a job. I just wanted to... Exactly. I just wanted to start earning as soon as possible. And I had some financial issues during that time. My family had financial issues. So I really wanted to get into a government engineering college where I could afford the fee and afford a degree. And that's how I got into CET, took civil engineering. So completely
best one in Kerala for the ones who does not know. CET is the best college that you can go to in Kerala with Kerala entrance.
Yeah, and added advantage, it was just like 15 minutes from my house. So the best thing that I could get at that time.
Yeah. So that's how civil engineering happened by merit, and you fell into that slot.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did you? So as somebody who studied civil engineering, I fell out of love. In 4 years, I fell out of love.
Okay.
But then clearly you fell in love with it. So because you pursued one of the most challenging areas of civil engineering, if I could say, because it is very challenging for me to study geotech. So how was the process? How did you fall in love with it? And like, what did you do right after your engineering? Like, did you take your master's right after, or did you work for some time?
No, I worked for some time. After I took the course, after I took civil engineering, I don't know, it just, from the first year onwards, it just clicked. Like, I was like, I kept on telling my parents even, it's as if this is a place that I had to be. Wow. This was where I wanted to be all my life. Like, whatever I did throughout my school years was for this. Like, it just clicked. I cannot explain how, but every single thing that I did in civil engineering, I just loved. Like, I loved the labs. I loved all the interactions. I loved the competitions. even FM lab was, I don't know why it happened. I was a bit obsessed with all these mega engineering, all these programs that came up on Discovery and stuff. And I was really intrigued by it. And I came across a program in relation to, I think, it's an airport in Japan where consolidation settlement was happening.
Okay.
And I came to know that geotechnical engineers were the one who were involved in correcting it. And when this course came, I think in second or third year, I was committed. Like from first, that was the only subject that I scored like really well, high score. very good.
Taped through.
No, and the lecturers were really nice, who play a very important part in getting our interest, going. So yeah, um, although it was an accidental degree,
Yeah.
it
But
that it was
that
very
kind of gelled well with whatever you wanted to do.
exactly.
Riddhi, after BTech, I mean, half my class went to TCS after civil engineering, and a
Yeah.
lot of other. I think just two people went to L&T,
Okay.
and some other people they took MTech and went that way. But a lot of people who went into campus placement went to TCS or went to Infosys or some sort of those kind of places. Like, did you get into campus placement, or how did the job scene happen after your BTech?
So I think this is a mistake that most of our degree holders do. They say they are passionate, but then they always try to take the straight line, like whatever is present in before them, like L&T, or I know it's a really good company, but then there are a few choices in front of us as soon as we graduate in India, and they just feel that, oh, we have to get into one of these. Otherwise, we just have to change the field. Either you get into one of the core companies that come into your university for placement, or just take up a job in IT. I know the choice that happens in the final year, but then I did not want to go into IT. I did not want to change the field. Not that IT is bad, but it's just that I really wanted to continue in civil engineering. This was sort of a placement, but it was not a placement for the entire batch.
Okay.
So it was an offshore geotechnical engineering company. It was quite specialized. So they were just looking for one person from the whole group. And I sort of started applying for it. I heard about it from a senior of mine. And then I just started applying. Like, I just wanted to get into it. And I pestered the heck out of them.
Yeah.
So anybody who's trying to give up, never give up. Just pester people into giving you at least an interview opportunity. That's what I'm saying. You needn't necessarily get a job. If you are actually really passionate about your course or the degree that you take, just keep on going and you will get to the right place. So I got a placement with this company.
Again, like, I have a little bit of a doubt there. It didn't come to your campus. It was an external thing that you applied to, right?
Yes, they do, but they do come to the campus, but once in like 4 years, because it's a very small company. It's a specialized company, so they don't do bulk recruitments. Because I expressed so much interest, I kept on emailing them. They said, we really have to find out who this person is. So they contacted one of my lecturers and asked them about me. And he said, yeah, it's good. She's good. Like, give her a chance. So I sort of went like a paid internship sort of thing to this company, even before I completed my graduation. I had my examinations later that year, but I went to Chennai. I had some work experience there, and then it sort of happened from there.
What company was it? It was an offshore geotech company, right?
Yes, it's an offshore geotechnical engineering company. They are a Singapore-based company, but they had a branch in Chennai where I went initially for the internship, and then once I got the job, I had opportunities to travel to Singapore. I went to Thailand, and they would give me work experiences there. I get to work with senior engineers at IIT doing research. So it was really nice. It just came together. It's nothing I planned. I never knew that I would get
graduate. That's the best thing that can happen, right? You learn so much on the ground, and you could get to travel. I mean, you don't get that things with the big name placements where you are.
Exactly. Yeah, it was just a lucky experience, I would say. I never knew they would do this. I knew that I would get a chance to travel somewhere, but I never knew where. So yeah, this just happened, and then I decided this is my field.
This is your field. So it's so nice that you had a substantial and that too like really good work experience in the field before you went for a master's in the field, because I keep referencing to my classmates because that's my sphere of reference because I did the same course. A lot of people I knew after their BTech wrote their master's entrance, and they went to NITs and they went to IITs, and they straight away did their further studies they had to do. So do you think, especially in geotech, do you think a substantial work experience, gaining that before going to do a master's, would be beneficial, or it wouldn't make much of a difference if you straight away went to get a master's and then later work in the field?
It depends on perspective. Like, I've asked this question several times to several people. I'm a bit lazy, so I never wanted to go and do my masters all of a sudden, because I did my studies. I wanted a break, and then, if it happens, it happens. That was my thought. But then there are lots of professors who say that you just have to complete your education in one stretch. But for me, from my perspective, I felt that the work experience has helped me a lot, just because you are still in that process of trying to decide what your specialization is, what your skills are. And then I suggest that you work for some time, find that out if this is really, what you're meant to do, and then do your masters. For example, what I did was, I did work for 2 years in this offshore geotechnical engineering company. Then I went to Dubai. Then I worked with hydrogeology, which is still geotechnical engineering, but working with water and their interaction. And then I decided, it's time for me to do the masters. And when you're going to do the masters, you now have something to refer to, your work. Oh, this is why we did it, and this is what we are going to learn about. So I think work experience has helped me, but it might not be for everyone else. So yeah.
Another thing that when you just said that the work experience have helped you, I think especially for you applying for a master's out of India, I think it's paramount that you had that kind of work experience, because like when I was applying for my master's abroad, whatever form, the prime of my application was the SOP, and they want to know why we're passionate about this particular area and why we want to learn it. So I think that would also have tipped the scales to your side into securing an admission in Imperial College, right?
Exactly. So after I was done with the BTech in CET, I imagine that if I'm going to do a master's, I would do it in one of the premier institutes in India. I want to do it in an IIT or something. It has to be there. It has
to level
the profile. Up. Yeah, the profile has to look good. But then this work experience, it sort of helped me in such a huge way that I got into one of the best universities in the world, not just India. So Imperial College in London has the best soil mechanics or geotechnical engineering course in the world. So I was so lucky, and the only reason they took me, is because of my work experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I have several people coming back and ask, how did you get in? Like, I'm an average student. I'm not the high ranker. I'm trying to, if somebody is listening to this, I want to give them this advice. You do not have to be a high ranker. You can be an average student like me. You just have to be passionate about what you're doing, and the stars will align in your favor. So I think for me, it worked out. If I was going from CET and directly doing my master's, maybe I would have done it in one of the IITs or NITs. But because I chose to go through the work experience route, I got into this college. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is very sound advice that you can give to people, because people always think it's always the academics and the marks that you get in a paper that would get you into places, right? But I don't think it really works that way, especially in universities outside India. I really don't think it's just the mark list that matters, because your experience, your life experience, and the way you present it in the application, it really amounts up to a lot of things. And yeah, that's very sound advice that you can give to the people who will be watching.
Yeah.
So did you get any scholarships for your masters, or So you just applied straight away, or did you go through any scholarship channels?
Again, why I'm going to tell you how my work experience mattered. I was broke. I was completely broke. And I had some savings, not completely broke. I had some savings with me from my job in Dubai. But then I was nowhere close to paying for an international education.
After living in London, and it's crazy. You would
It's
never.
crazy. So this course that I did at Imperial cost, for international student, cost 27 lakhs. And that's a cost of an average house in India. So when I told my parents, when I started applying for all these courses, I was just trying, I was just trying to, get a feel of where I would get into. And then when I told my parents I got into Imperial, this is a course my dad told me, look, we will back you up in any way we can, but financially, no. We cannot actually afford that education right now. That's where your work experience comes handy. So there are two ways to do your education. One is by getting a straightaway scholarship. No, three ways actually. Scholarship, or having, a fund ready for you from your parents. Third way is going back to your employer and asking for that money. Are they ready to invest in you? This is what I did. I had two choices in front of me, either to drop the thing or defer it. That's it. That's defer by 1 year, get your savings ready and go for the education. So as a final thing, I just went back to my employer in Dubai and asked them, look, I got this master's offer. It's from a really good university. Of course, they know about Imperial. And I said, are you ready to fund me? And they said, yes. Wow. And they said, it was, yeah, this is the exact expression or response I had to it. They said, yes, but partly. They will fund my education, but partly. And I just took it. As I said, I had some savings. I could pay for all the tickets and, books or laptop or whatever. And I went there, but they paid for first or second installment of the course. And again, another pitfall I had, I did not get education loan. I couldn't get education loan at that time because none of the banks in India were ready to back me up. Because I did not have a credit history in India. My parents did not have a credit history in India. So none of the banks were ready to do it. And this is when networking comes into handy. It was one of my friends who offered to help me out with the course, provided I paid back once I get a job. And I don't know, it's the trust people have in you. And this is why I say, if you aim for something and you head for it, the stars will align on your side. And a friend of mine said, all right, half of the fee, I will help you out with it. Even if I don't have all of it, I will make sure all of our friends pitch in and help you with it. I know it sounds. I know it sounds.
I've never heard somebody do this for their, friend.
Yes.
People who do a lot of things, but I know how much money that could be. And,
yeah.
For somebody to say, okay, I'm there for this much money, I'm there. I mean, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Isn't it magical? Yeah, it's not just, it's magical.
You might just be the luckiest person on earth.
I don't know, Meenakshi. Like, that's what I keep on, even if somebody comes back.
In the right time.
Right time.
To promise it, yeah.
Exactly. So if someone comes and asks me, how did you do it? I say, there's no concrete way of doing anything. You have to find your own way of doing it. It's your drive that matters. Like if you are aiming towards it, you have to make sure you will get there no matter what. And then other things will happen. So yeah, that's how I did not have a scholarship, but you could call it a bursary, what the company gave me. And then my friends helped me. So I didn't have to go ahead and ask. I was just saying, look, my education loan didn't come through. Half of my fee is paid, but I'm stuck here. So by that time I was in the UK. My education loan didn't come through on time. And I was just discussing with my friends. I'm like, brainstorming as to how I can raise enough money to complete it. And it will come,
Yeah.
Even if they are not, coming ahead and telling you, I'm going to pay all the fee. No, at least they'll come up with ways
I
in which
know.
they can back you up. So you need to have a good network. Like when we started our conversation, we were talking about it. You need to have a good network. You need to make sure that the friends you have are really your friends.
I know, right? I know. So now I'm interested in what happened after Imperial.
Yeah. So after the course, I was supposed to go back to the company that I was working for, who paid for my course. But then again, that's the next bit. This is what I'm talking about. Your life would be when you are determined to go in a certain way, there'll be several failures. So I tried to get back into the company, but they couldn't give me a visa to work in the UK at that time because few of the projects they had down the pipeline did not come through. So
Okay.
they didn't actually need a workforce in UK. They wanted somebody either in Canada or Australia or Dubai. And for me at that time, because I told you I had a lot of financial issues and I didn't want to move country then. I couldn't move again. So I told them, all right, fine. I'll just start working for another company till you have a position ready for me. And then I started applying. And geotechnical engineering, I'm not really sure if you know, in UK, there is a shortage occupation list.
Okay.
That's the list of fields they don't have enough people in. They couldn't source people from the UK. Geotechnical engineering falls into the shortage occupation list. So there are not enough people doing this job here in the UK. So I applied and I got into a company. It was a small firm. But then the experience was so good.
Yeah.
I worked with, all so civil engineering has different facets, as you know. It has software analysis. It's not just wearing a hat and going on field and standing under the sun. So I did some finite element analysis. I did work in hospital sectors, residential sectors, building houses, doing site investigations. So that's it. It just took on from there.
Coming back to your first company, so how did you manage to pay off the company that funded you?
They didn't. They said that it's fine. I know. So it's like they said, no, it's a bursary.
Life is filled with a lot of good people and goodwill. Maybe because I know you as a person, and maybe because it's because of you also.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I was never rude to anyone. I was never rude to anyone. So maybe God's just decided, oh my God, just let her be. Like, I don't know. They never asked for it.
I'm not at all surprised. It's a little bit of a personal story for somebody who's watching, and people might wonder why I'm saying that. But then Revathy and I go way long back. We used to travel in the same bus to the same school, and she was easily one of my favorite seniors. And usually seniors are not that kind to juniors, and she was easily one of my favorite seniors. So I know where the stars have aligned, and she's done her part. She's done her part to align the stars that particular way because she's that good a person.
Thank you, Meenakshi. No, I don't know. It's just God's been, good to me. So they didn't ask for it back, but I did pay off my friend back, of course. Otherwise, there'll be no friendship anymore. So once I got a job, I made it a point that it's paid off. I couldn't pay it off in one go. I paid it off in installments, but I made sure he's paid back. I contacted the other company as well, asking them whether, do you want me to pay you back? But they said no. Can I start paying you back now? But no, they never said anything. So here I am. And even throughout your career, I'm not saying you have to be very nice, but it's really good to keep a good rapport with people, because that's where your opportunity comes in from. It's good to network with people.
I saw a video of yours in LinkedIn where you were speaking for something in the ICE, Institute of Civil Engineers.
Exactly. So Institute of Civil Engineers had their 200th anniversary in 2018, and they wanted to have a set of videos about people's experience and how engineering is actually helping world. And I wanted to talk about this dream that I had. It was about developing a flood mitigation system based on the historical experiences we have in India. And this is something that I wrote in my statement of purpose for Imperial. This was my idea. I wanted to develop a flood mitigation system that will help balance the flood and drought, cycles in India. So I talked about it, and that was with the full support of the company I worked for previously, just because they said, they wanted people to go ahead.
Yeah.
So
I'd really like to link it to the description of this video.
Sure. Yes.
So maybe people who are watching it might be interested in it. And so I'm going to link it down.
Hopefully we can actually do this in India, bring about a balance to everything.
Yeah. All right. So so now you've shifted from that company that you've been working for in London, and you're in Imperial, right? And and I hear that it's a very fancy little firm that you're working for. I'd like to know a little bit more about that before we wind up.
Yes. So I'm working for a multinational company now. It's called Arab. They are they are the designers for, places like Sydney Opera House, the London Eye, the Millennium Bridge. So they are the designers to go to in the world. And why I decided to join Arab is because I have this long-term goal of coming back to India.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're coming back to India, you need to have, everything set up. You need to work for a good company which has their branch in India, and who can actually back you up when you're going
have a branch in India.
Yes. So Arab has branches in Mumbai and Bangalore. I want to use whatever I have learned. I have around 10 years of experience now. So I want to use that in India. I want to work on projects in India because, let's face it, the government gave me a subsidized education for 4 years. I just want to give something back. I want to come back. And people stop me from doing this because they are saying there are a lot of, blocks in your way when you come back. But I think if you want to do something really, really badly and want to contribute, then no matter what the blocks or pitfalls are, it will happen. And that's what I believe.
Journey so far has been a testimonial for that as well.
I know, yes. So it's not that I am different from everyone. It's not that, I'm a high ranker, I work really, really hard. No, it's just that I just wanted to do it so bad. This is what I keep on thinking of day in, day out, and it just happens.
That makes absolute sense. And I feel very inspired to dream bigger and to persistently dream and not lose hope, in my trajectory of dreams. So it's been a wonderful conversation, Dave. It's been a long time since we spoke also. I'm so glad that, Women at Work kind of put a platform for us to connect again as professionals as very different people than how we met in school, right?
Yes.
I'm so happy this happened, and it was a wonderful conversation. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people who would want to contact Women at Work, especially students from engineering sector, would want to contact you. And I would count them really lucky to get a mentor like you.
Oh, thank you. Like, I look forward to it. Like, I really want people to contact me just because I know the sort of blocks I had in my mind when I was trying to go for something. And I want to talk to people and tell them that's just in your mind. You can overcome this. And like we had just before this interview started, Meenakshi, the conversation that we had to go through a roller coaster most of the time in my life, because we didn't have a proper mentor in place. Yeah, and it was really good to connect with you again. And I know you have been my supporter in social media. I know that whatever I post, I get your like, and I'm like, oh, Meenakshi's there. And it's been,
my life is in social media now. Even though I want to take a break, my work is so intermingled with social media. Even when I want to take a break, I'm like, maybe not. I might lose out a little bit because if I take a break from social media, but I'm not complaining. I keep connecting with people through social media, and it's a wonderful world out there if you use it right.
Yes, use the tools you have in hand, right? Like, there are different ways to use things that you have with you, but use it right, figure out a way to use it right. And I hope whatever we are doing with this Women at Work we can take it to the next platform.
I know.
We can
I really think that, the people who see this are the people whom I would get to interview, like maybe 2 years down the lane. Maybe they can share their journeys. And
Exactly.
I think it comes. I really hope it comes a full circle with how it has come for us.
Yes, it will.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much again, Revathy. And this was such a pleasure. Thank you. And I think I'll connect with you soon.
Yes, anytime, Meenakshi. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Bye.